Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be tying your very first fly. Let's just say you just inherited your uncle's or your grandpa's or your father's tying vise. This here, in this case, this is an old Renzetti before we even had the cam, just a little, got the screw to clamp your hook down in place. It's rotary, little screw knob there to lock everything in place. So you just inherited your first vise. You're trying to figure out what type of fly to tie. Just got into fly fishing. You thought, man, I can just really get into some fly tying here. It's a great way to relax and spend an evening. So we're going to show you how to tie a very simple, very effective fly that can be your very first fly with materials you might already have laying around the house other than the hook and the thread. Probably got to go get some real good thread from the fly shop there. Using cotton thread. Don't use any cotton thread. Just use. Make sure you buy it. This is cheap. Less than $3 at the fly shop for some thread. So let me zoom in. We're going to show you how to tie this real quick. The Utah Killer Bug. Yarn I'm using is something I picked up the other day, actually a couple weeks ago at Hobby Lobby. Seen it on the shelf for quite some time ago. Didn't pick it up because it wasn't on sale. But this is just Yarn Bee Warm and Cozy Blush. It is lot 7441, and it is made out of 78% acrylic, 13% nylon, 9% polyester. So you can look through your grandmother's old yarn collection or your wife's stuff. Find something similar. This is a blush style yarn. I like this a lot because it has these little black fibers in it, and when you wrap it around the hook, it kind of gives you a little segmented body look. But you'll see that. But don't use any cotton yarn. Cotton will disintegrate in the water, make a mess. So wool, I will use a lot of wool, and this acrylic works well too. Looks great wet. So we're going to start with a hook and a vise. Thread I'm going to use is Danville. It's 210 denier. Just lay it right on top of the shank of the hook. Give it a few wraps. Then wrap backwards over top of itself. This is pre-waxed thread, so it grips the hook pretty well. Cut away the butt end section, what they call the tag end. Get a few more wraps backwards, bringing it back toward the front of the hook there. Now you're going to grab some of this copper wire. This is a 26 gauge craft wire. Pretty thick. It's not really good for a lot of fly tying applications, but it is good for this. You can use other weight. You can use lead weight, or you can use lead free. But we're going to use some stuff that maybe you already have laying around the house. So just lay this right along with the shank of the hook there. Take your thread, wrap over it, tie it in right alongside of the hook, wrapping it back to where you left that thread at. Wrap it back forward. And perk your thread up toward the front. Now you're going to take this copper wire. I like to turn the vise over at this time, but if you don't have a vise that rotates, no big deal, you can still wrap it around. But it's a little easier to rotate the vise upside down and wrap it back forward. You're just going to use this for weight. You're never going to see this, so just try to keep it semi-neat, keep it uniform. Take it right back to the front. Give it one more wrap, I think. And now that I'm at the front, I'm going to turn my vise back over. I'm going to capture. Tie it off a little bit. Just give it several wraps. Now this wire, normally can helicopter wire off. This is a little thick, so I'm just going to take these old utility scissors, reach in there close as I can, give it a snip. If you do have a little piece of wire sticking up, take your little needle nose pliers, give it a pinch down. There you go. Okay, bring your thread back over top of the wire. Take it all the way back toward the rear. Take it down the shank of the hook, down around the bend to about the midway point. You want to leave enough hook exposed for the fish to hang on to. Now you're going to take some of that yarn I just showed you. You're going to lay it just with the tip right alongside of the shank of the hook. I'm going to show you something here. When you go to tie it in, your threads are going to jump forward. And it's just, you're going to be fighting yourself trying to tie it in every time. Take your thread, spin it clockwise. Let it go, let it go, let it go. There you go. Now take your thread. See how it jumps backwards? Capturing it on your very first try. Take your thread down around to about the midpoint of that bend of the hook and back forward. Give it a good wrap on the way back here. Try to cover everything up as much as you can. Just about like that. Now again, I'm going to turn my fly upside down. And I'm going to spin the yarn, touching turns all the way up. Touching itself the whole way. Trying to cover up anything below, any of the wire or any of the thread. Now when you get to the front, take that thread, pull it up over top of the yarn. 1, 2, shorten up that thread just a little bit. And 3 times. Now go ahead and reach in there with your scissors. It helps to have some real fine point scissors. Cut away the yarn. You're done with that. Now you'll build up just a little bit of a head here. Wrap it backward just a little bit. And there you go. Now you can tie this off if you don't have a half-hitch tool. If you don't ever used a half-hitch tool, I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. Let's go back a little bit here. Hopefully it's in focus. Take the front bend of the hook or the tool, grasp your thread, take your thread up over the little bend portion of the back end of the tool, down around, and create, looks like a 4. Place your thread right on top and whip around the head of the fly, overlapping the previous turn. And when you get 3 or 4 in there, take your tool, bend it down, remove the back end section, pull the thread back, and remove the tool. That's a little whip finish. We'll do it one more time here. Grab the thread. Take the thread up and over the back of the tool into the little groove there. Create like the letter 4. Letter 4. How about number 4? And bring the thread right down on top of the fly. Spin it. 1, 2, 3 on top of itself. Do not do this where you're missing it. Make sure the thread goes over top the previous turn. And now pull the tool straight up. Take it off the back of the tool there. Take the thread off. Pull the thread back up through and release it. Pull it tight. Cut it away. Now if you got little fuzzies there, you can take this little magic tool you have here called a lighter. Clean it up. Take some clear fingernail polish. This here is Sally Hansen's. Or you can use your head cement that you inherited also with your uncle's fly tie stuff. And coat the thread. That way you're giving it a nice secure thread there that won't fray on you there. Alright, if it's a little fuzzy, I like to take this and just maybe cut it back a little bit here. And there you go. Got a Utah killer bug. Your very first fly. Fishes well. You'll impress all your friends there with all the fish you're catching with it. And they'll want you to toss them up too. Alright, hope you enjoy. Hope you like it. And stay safe out there. If you like these videos, give me a little subscribe, give me a like. Stay safe, and I'll see you around.